In this video, we show you what a California living trust is and why it's such a powerful estate planning tool. So, what is a living trust? A living trust in California is a legal document you create during your lifetime. It names you, the grantor, and often you as trustee. You transfer ownership of certain assets into the trust while you are alive. You control them. You use them. You change your mind if you wish. When you become incapacitated or when you die, the successor trustee you've named steps in and carries out your plan. This trust is sometimes called a revocable living trust because you retain the right to change or revoke it while you are competent. California law allows you to set up such a trust, name yourself as trustee and beneficiary, and later name alternate trustees and beneficiaries. What does a living trust consist of? A well-drafted California revocable living trust has several key components. First, you have the grantor and settlor. This is the person or people who create the trust and transfer assets into it. Next, you have the trustee. This is often the same person or people, while you are alive and capable, who manage the trust assets. Then you have the successor trustee. This is the person or people you've selected to take over if you cannot serve or when you die. The beneficiaries are next. These are the people or organizations you have chosen to receive the trust assets under the terms you set. And the trust property is composed of the assets you formally place into the trust by transferring title or retitling accounts. California law requires proper funding of the trust to make it effective. Your living trust has terms which are your instructions for when and how assets will be distributed, for instance, immediately at age 18, or upon other conditions or some milestone. It also contains instructions for how your affairs should be handled should disability or incapacity become issues. And one of the most powerful features of a California living trust is your ability to change or revoke the trust while you are competent. When you transfer your assets into the trust, also known as funding your trust, and you sign the document, the trust holds legal title to those assets. This gives the trust the power to act according to your instructions. Why is all of this important? You want your legacy to flow to your loved ones with as little friction, delay, and cost as possible. In California, the probate process is often long, public, and expensive. We share some eye-opening attorney fees, costs, and expense numbers associated with the probate process in a post you can read via the link in the description to this video. So with all of this in mind, a living trust gives you several advantages. One major advantage is avoiding probate. When your trust is properly funded, your successor trustee can distribute your assets without going through the full court probate process. That means your family can move more quickly, privately, and with lower costs to wrap up your affairs. Another advantage is continuity of management. If you become disabled or incapacitated, your successor trustee takes over asset management according to your plan without a court-appointed conservator. That gives protection for you and confidence for your family. A trust also keeps your plan private. Unlike a will that becomes part of the public probate record, a trust remains largely private. Here's an example. Sarah and Mark live in Orange County, California. They own their home, Mark has a retirement account with designated beneficiary, and they have other bank accounts and investments. They set up a revocable living trust in California. They transfer the home deed into the trust. Sarah and Mark, trustees of the Smith Family Living Trust. They change titles of investment accounts into the trust name where possible. They keep Mark's retirement account outside with a beneficiary designation, since most retirement accounts flow by beneficiary anyway. Mark becomes seriously ill and later passes away. Because the home and other titled assets were in the trust, their successor trustee, Sarah, or an alternate if Sarah cannot serve, immediately steps in and follows the trust instructions. The trust specifies that their daughter Mia receives title and investment funds once she turns 25. Younger daughter Ava gets funds in a trust until she finishes college. None of these assets have to go through the full California probate court process. There is no public court-filed will, no public executor oversight, no waiting months for probate deadlines. This saves time and cost and spares the family from court bureaucracy and public records. If instead the home and investment accounts remained solely in their own names and they only had a will, the home would pass through probate. California probate might take 8+ months or more, cost tens of thousands of dollars depending on estate size, and be publicly filed. A living trust avoids that outcome. Again, take a look at the very real and expensive probate numbers we share in the link in the description. So how does a living trust work with the other estate planning documents? A strong estate plan in California uses a trust plus other documents. These work together so no asset is left unguarded and your incapacity is covered. Let's start with a pour-over will. Even with a living trust, you still need a pour-over will. That will says that if any assets were not transferred into the trust before your death, those assets pour over into the trust at your death and are governed by the trust terms. This catches forgotten assets. Durable power of attorney for assets. This authorizes someone you trust to handle your financial matters if you become incapacitated but still living. When your name and accounts are in the trustee or successor trustee handles them. This power of attorney works for assets not yet in trust or other financial decisions. California Advanced Healthcare Directive. This document lets you appoint someone to make healthcare decisions if you cannot. It ensures your medical choices and end-of-life care are implemented according to your values. When you pair it with a living trust, your entire estate plan covers both your money and your medical life. When everything is aligned, you have a living trust holding your funded assets, a pour-over will catching anything outside, a durable power of attorney covering your finances in incapacity, and an advanced healthcare directive covering your medical decisions. Your family feels clarity, your plan runs smoothly if you cannot act, and your legacy unfolds without chaos. Here are a few final thoughts to consider. You protect your family by acting now. You build a living trust that keeps control with you, gives guidance for your future, and gives a roadmap for your family. You make sure the home you love, the savings you built, and the values you hold flow on the terms you choose. You show that you prepared. You show that you cared. You show that you understood this matters. If you have questions or would like us to help you with this, give us a call or shoot us a message via the link in the description. We've been helping California families for decades with their estate planning and other legal needs, and the chances are good that we can help you too.